So when we have a verb, you know that the verb is going to express that time in one of those three slots. Right? Past, right? Or slot B would be the present tense slash future. And then slot 3 would be the future tense, which is really the imperative verb or the command verb. So a verb is going to express action in one of those times. Okay? So when you get a verb, first thing you have to know what time it is in. So that's going to help you in your comprehension now. Because if it's in the past, then you need to translate accordingly or understand that accordingly. If it's in the present tense or if it's in the imperative. Right? That's what's going to help you in terms of a comprehension. Again, this has nothing to do with the meaning yet. We're not even at the meaning. We just talking about if you see a word and you know it's a verb. Now, you have to put that verb in this particular time slot. Everybody with me? Mm-hmm. Okay. So right now, so our standard is this. When you have a verb, you have to make sure you know how to put that verb in all three time slots. So that's 3 words now for one. Past, present, imperative. Right? The next thing you need to get from the verb is you should know its masdar. Okay? And then the next thing, or next 2 things you need to get from the verb is what we would refer to as the, in English we call them active participle and passive participle. Okay? Or ismu fa'il and ismu maf'ul. So there are 6 things you need to get from a verb. Okay? For our standard. The verb itself, right, which is going to be, let's say past, present slash future, imperative. That's the verb itself. Those first 3 are the verb itself. And then the 4th thing would be the masdar. And for masdar, you can put verbal now. When we come to it, we're going to give another meaning for our review. Right? The meaning of verbal masdar, we would say verbal noun. Okay? And then the 5th thing you want, if applicable, is how to extract what we call in Arabic ismu fa'il. Ismu fa'il. Ismu fa'il will be number 5. Ismu fa'il. And then number 6, ismu maf'ul. Okay? Okay. Okay. All right. And when we come to that, sorry, because right now we're going to stick with first when you go to the dictionary, how to extract the first 3 things, or the first 4 things. When you open up a dictionary, you go to a word. So let's go ahead and open up our dictionary. Let's look up the word sajada. Let's look up the word sajada. Sajada. Okay.
So when you say broken down,
we're gonna go over that one in a moment. Okay.
That I bought recently.
Okay, first, sorry. A student of our language, hands with. You know what? Okay. Okay. Everybody have it?
Yes, sir. 397.
It's not shajaja. Shajajaja.
Okay, everybody have it?
Yes.
Okay, so the first thing we see aside from in hands where, again, from the Arabic, is then, we have that lesson on how to read transliteration. We don't use it, but we still need to know how to read it. Okay? All right, everybody see it?
Yes.
So we need to learn how to read transliteration, although we may not use it, but we still should know how to read it. Okay? So, you see the transliteration, and then next to it you see a loan letter, right? It's either going to be an A, I, or a U. That loan letter is the vowel of the present tense. Okay? So, so this is what happens. So now I have if I'm looking up Sejadah, so this is what I'm going to do. When I look up, and I still do this, when I come across a word, and it's a verb, I'm going to write down the verb itself, and then now that I see what the vowel is, then I'm going to write next to it the present tense. Because what happens is that vowel, notice that vowel tells us what vowel goes over the middle letter. So now I know that vowel is a what? It's Dhamma. So I know to say yes, Jew. Okay? That's what I know now about the verb.
From that letter.
From that letter. That letter tells you what vowel goes over that middle letter. Okay? Everybody understand? So that's how you go to the dictionary to find out the present tense. Alright? And this is for Form 1. Why? Because Form 1, there's 6 different patterns for Form 1. The other forms, they are predictable because their vowel sequence stays the same. But for Form 1, it's not predictable. Right? So that's why you must consult a dictionary on what that vowel is for the present tense. All right, so we good now. How to extract the vowel for the present tense. Then next to that, if we're ready, we're going to move on down the line again. Right? All right? We have Sejadah, we have the past tense, we have the present tense now. And then in the dictionary, you see a word in parentheses. Often in hands where the next entry in parentheses indicate our masdar. Okay? You see the masdar. Sometimes you may say, you may see more than one. Okay? You may see more than one, but we're going to take the most common one. In this case, you should see in parentheses, they only give you one for Sejadah.
Sujud, yeah,
right?
one.
And is it transliteration or in Arabic?
It's in both.
It's in
Arabic
both,
first,
okay.
then transliteration.
Okay, right? So, we're going to use now Sujud. Okay? Sujud then, okay? So now that's the masdar. Okay?
So it's normal to skip over the imperative, go straight to masdar.
Yeah, I mean, only the imperative comes from this.
Oh,
Right. I mean, I'm just saying what's on the entry here now.
right.
In the dictionary.
Okay.
Okay? Okay? So we see how to extract the masdar now.
Yep.
Right. Okay? So before we move on, let's talk about the masdar. What do you mean by the masdar? If masdar is spelled in Arabic, mim, sod, del, ra. Masdar. Okay? Mim, sod, del, ra. Okay? That's right? That means we translate this here most of the time. We end up saying verbal noun. Okay? That's most time how to translate. So, if we talk about what is a verb is a word that expresses an action. Okay? Everybody right? Everybody good? That action is in a particular time slot. Past, present/future, or the imperative. Everybody good? Right? Everybody good? Ali?
Yes, I am.
Okay? You understand that, right? That's a verb. A verb is going to express action, right? Or a state of being in the past. It happened already. Present/future, it is happening or it will happen, which is the present tense, or the future, meaning the imperative. Right? You understand?
Yes.
You know. English grammarians don't classify the imperative as a tense. In Arabic do. We're studying Arabic. If we're studying English, then we wouldn't include that, but we're studying Arabic today. Okay, so, right, so again, in English, they don't classify the imperative verb as a tense. In Arabic, it is, however. It's considered a tense. Okay, so sometimes our English may, conflict with what, when we're studying Arabic, what we learned in English may conflict what we're learning in Arabic. So, don't let that be a hindrance. In Arabic, there are 3 tenses. Past, present/future, future tense, and in parentheses we will put command or imperative verb. Okay? Those are the 3 times. Okay? The masdar, okay? And whether you use verb or not, but we're going to retain the word masdar. The masdar is first of all, it's a noun. That's the first thing. The masdar is a noun that embodies the action of the verb. It captures the action of the verb without any reference to time. Okay? That's the masdar. So, in essence, what we're saying is the idea itself, the concept of whatever that verb means. So, if you look what sajada means basically, it means what? The dictionary. The dictionary. To bow or to prostrate. That's what it means. Okay? 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 Because it doesn't mean he yet until we use it. Okay? It doesn't mean that. That when you use it in a sentence, but by itself, it doesn't mean he prostrated. This means to prostrate. Right? Understand? That's the big difference. Conjugating is something separate from looking at what the word means, because in your text, it may not be he. It may be I or I, But what the verb itself, it means to prostrate, to bow. Some other examples they may give. Okay? So we want to understand what the verbal noun means now. So the verbal noun encompasses the past, present. We don't have the imperative listed. It encompasses all that meaning without any reference to the time itself. So if sajada means to prostrate, sujud means the concept itself. So whatever that is, take away the element of time in your masdar. And that's your masdar now. If you take away the element of time, so no matter what verb you have, if you take time out of the picture, whatever is left is your masdar. Okay? All right?
Yeah, it does seem like it becomes a noun then.
Okay? It's a noun.
Yeah.
Okay? And I think you remember earlier, because, when we first said, what's a noun? And that's what I said, it's an idea. Right? That's your verbal noun. That's the concept. That's the idea, the thought of something. Right? Just whatever that is, that's your masdar. Okay? All right? So now we know how to go to the dictionary, how to extract the actual verb itself, how to get your present tense, and how to enlist your masdar. Okay? Okay? All right? So that's finished. Okay? As for the imperative, you only know how to do your imperative once you learn your present tense verb. And the imperative is taken from your present tense verb. So, let's take a review on how to make the imperative verb. Okay? The imperative verb, okay, with the exception, this is basically for form. First, let's talk about in general. The imperative verb is, the final vowel is stationary. Okay? It's stationary, meaning it doesn't change for the imperative verb. Okay? It doesn't change. And it's also, the imperative verb is going to always end in sukoon. This is general for any imperative verb, no matter what the form is. It's going to end in sukun. Okay? Okay? So let me take this out. Right?
The must start ends in sukoon too?
No, must start is a noun. Must start is a noun. That's tanween.
Okay. Oh, tanween. That's sukoon.
Okay? 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 All right? So, the imperative verb going to end in sukun. Why? Because it's mabni ala sukun. Okay? For, pay attention. The original letter of the verb is the letter sin. Okay? When this original letter is sukun, when it has sukun, looking at your present tense, if it has sukun on it, right, then that imperative verb will need hamzatul wasl. Okay, it's going to need a hamzatul wasl. So yes, Judah, you hear the sukun. So now in forming our imperative verb, right, we see that it has sukun. So I know I'm going to begin my imperative verb with a hamzatul wasl. So that's the first thing. I'm going to write hamzatul wasl. Okay, and I'm going to copy everything else I see that's left now, which is the letter sin, jim, and dal, right? Okay, I'm going to retain the vowels. Sin, of course, is sukun. Jim, of course, is from up here. Dhamma, and what I'm going to put on the dal. Sukun, why?
Because it's always ends in the sukun.
Huh? The imperative ends in sukun. That's why.
How do you pronounce that?
We're going to come to that. We're going to come to that. We say shay'an for shay'an, step by step.
What was that?
Shay'an for shay'an. Okay? So, everybody see how we formed the imperative. So let's review how did we make the imperative. First of all, we look at, we see the imperative comes from your present tense verb. Okay? You can't form the imperative unless you know how to make your present tense verb. That's the first thing we have to make sure that's clear. Right? So if you got your past tense, that's why we say if you have a past tense verb, learn your present tense, and then in turn, when you learn that, then you also learn your imperative at the same time without even thinking about it. Because once you know how to make the imperative, you know. But if you know your present, past, present, you have it. Right with me?
Yes.
Okay? So you have your present tense verb. So we want to now make the imperative. How do you make the imperative? The imperative comes from your present tense verb. So there's some general guidelines about the imperative verb. The first thing is that the imperative verb is going to end in the vowel of sukun. It's going to be mabni. It's stationary. It always ends in sukun. Unlike the present tense verb, which the vowel changes. Sometimes it's yes judo, or it could be yes judah, or it could be yes judah. Right? The present tense changes. The past tense stays the same. And the imperative stays the same. Okay? So, that's the first thing. Okay? Now, when that vowel, when the original letter has a sukun, the imperative must begin with hamzatul wasl. Okay? What's the original letter? What is it? I'm asking.
Sin.
Sin. And what vowel is here? Sukun. So when the original letter is sukun, you know in your imperative you have to begin with hamzatul wasl. If it had a vowel, for an example, like watch. Let's say if we were talking about the verb like call. Right? Call. Call that means to say. Right? So we said when we learn call that, that's past tense. We now want to know the present tense. The present tense for call that would be Yakulu. Okay? Okay? This is Dhamma. Right? Right? So, based on that alone now, look. Here, the verb, for the imperative for sajada is going to begin with a hamzatul wasl. Why? Because sin has sukun. How about the imperative for yakulu? Are we gonna start it with a hamza to wasl? Why not? Because it has a vowel here. That's why. You understand this? Everybody understand? Right? Because the vowel here has a vowel, we don't need hamza to wasl. Right? There's no need for hamza to wasl now. Okay? All right? So we have, all right? And so once you have that, once you understand that there, from the present tense now you're going to copy everything. Okay? Okay? You're going to copy everything. What do we mean by copy? Right? You're going to retain the sukoon on the scene, of course. You're going to retain the vowel, the middle vowel, right? Which is dhamma in this case for this verb. And then we already said that the imperative verb ends in sukoon. That's just the ruling for the imperative period. Okay? And then that's it. Now we come to how to read this now. Purpose of hamza to wasl is for reading purposes. That's it. It's when we don't have a vowel. Right? When a letter doesn't have it's used to act as a connector. Right? To go to the next word. But this word now we don't have anything preceding it. So now we have to read this first. So in this case, there's only two ways to read an imperative verb with hamza to wasl. There are only two ways to read an imperative verb that has hamza to wasl. You're either going to read with dhamma or you're going to read with kesara. There are only two ways. Either you're going to read it with a dhamma or you're going to read it with a kesara. When the middle vowel is a dhamma, you read with dhamma. Okay? Again, when the middle vowel is a dhamma, you read the hamza to wasl with a dhamma. So the reading now for sajada yasjudu becomes usjud. See? Okay? Okay, now so that's your imperative. Okay? Everybody good? Aye?
Yeah. I'm processing.
Okay. All right. My satisfaction is not moving as fast as your processing. You notice that, right? He's taking your spot on it.
Hey, I'm loving it. I'm good. I'm good right now.
Keep that.
Keep up the good work, brother. Keep up the good work.
Keep that.
I wasn't thinking that. No, I'm not. Yes.
So when you read it in Quran and you see that hamza, I mean, you would not see the hamza to wasl, would you?
Yes, you would. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But that's, so it looks like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you see that, you won't know what to do except, I mean, you would know what to do because, like you just said, the middle letter, what's on the middle letter.
The Quran has tashkil though, so you don't know what I'm saying.
Right.
Yeah.
Depending on which one you use. If you use a Saudi one, it don't. If you use that
If
Indo-Pak.
you're using Arabic.
Yeah, if you use the Indo-Pak.
Arabic.
See?
Yeah, but everybody don't
Yeah.
use that.
That's hamza to wasl.
Just trying to say,
Right,
you
right.
Now,
have
how
to
do you
get
know how to read it?
you have to
Vowel,
get
you
a
see
full,
the middle
complete
vowel.
analysis.
There's only two ways to read it. With a dhamma. When it's a dhamma, you read with a dhamma, right? But it's a fa. So how would you read that?
Mercy.
It's not
Bismillahirrahman.
dhamma though.
That's what it's only two ways to read it. It's either with a dhamma or with a kasra. When the vowel is a dhamma, you read with a dhamma. So what's
Oh, so it's
It's a
a
kasra.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
Okay?
Indo-Pak Arabic. That's like transliteration.
Do we have a Ali? You have a
No!
There's nothing wrong with it. Just the way you say it.
I don't have any, brother.
And there's nothing wrong with it. No. The thing is, in a Pakistani script, Mushaf, they don't use Hamza to Wasl, they don't use Hamza cut. They're gonna put the actual vowel there for you. That's all. That's the only difference.
Oh,
They
you
do.
have to figure it out.
You don't have to figure it out. You don't have to think.
We don't want to do that.
Or teach.
We don't want to do that, brother.
Or not figure it out.
No, because he told me to get one, and I saw it. He showed it to me in two. I had one in the same ayat. It showed the vowel, and this one it didn't have the vowel in the Arabic, so I got two of
It
those.
makes
now.
you think.
Makes you think.
Yeah, you don't have to think with that.
Yeah, that's the one you want, right? On the Indo-Pak. I got some in the house. I'll trade you.
Even with tajweed, everything. I mean, when you learn the rules of tajweed, with Uthman, we call it Uthmani script, you learn it. With Indo-Pak script is built in the reading. So you can read, but you don't know why. I'd rather know why.
Right.
You know.
And you said it would only be.
There's only two ways to read Hamza to Wasl with the verb. Okay? With the imperative verb. Either with a kesra, with dhamma or with kesra. Okay? So when the middle vowel is the dhamma, you read with a dhamma. So if it's anything other than a dhamma, what are you going to read it with? Kesra.
Instructor, I'm being bothered by this student next to me. Can you chastise him in some sort or fashion, please? He's bothering me.
When angels come and extract the souls of those who are oppressed in the land, what will be said to them? Al-ardi wasi'a, is not the earth of Allah wide? Why don't you move? I mean, that's...
Okay, time out. That's not the answer I expected.
I know you did.
Snitches get stitches.
Wow.
I had to take my spot back.
Okay. All right.
Could you repeat this one more time so I can write
Which
it?
one, sis?
Only two ways to read.
Yeah, the only two ways to read Hamza to Wasl with an imperative verb. Okay? Okay. So now, on that, you said A or one with Dhamma. And number two, Kesra.
Right.
Okay? Now you answer, when will you read the Hamza to Wasl with a Dhamma? When the middle vowel
Yeah, when the middle vowel
is
a
the Dhamma.
Right.
Okay, that's when you'll read this Hamza to Wasl. Look, let's take the verb qara'a. Right? Qara'a. Right? To read. What's the present tense for qara'a? Come on. Come on. What's the present tense? Ali, I heard you. Yaqra'u. Okay? Okay? Yaqra'u. Right? Okay, so let's form, now we're going to stop here. Let's form our imperative now. Okay? So, let's go through the process. Is qara'a yaqra'u. The original has sukun, so what do we need for the imperative verb? We need Hamza to Wasl. We can't escape Hamza to Wasl now, can we? No. And then we're going to copy everything else, right? We're going to bring Qaf, Ra, and Hamza over. Qaf, Ra, Hamza. Okay? What voweling we're going to put now?
Sukun.
Sukun.
Fata.
And sukun. Why sukun? Because the imperative verb ends in sukun. Right? Now, how are we going to read this now? There's only two ways to read the Hamza to Wasl with the imperative verb, either with a dhamma or with a kesra. How are we going to read this one? With kesra. Why?
Because of the fatha.
Because the middle vowel is fata. So we say ikra. This is what we don't do. I mean, some people do, but this is like a frown upon us in that, we don't do this. There's no need for that. If you know the rule, there's no need to put, because that's not a true vowel there. This only comes into play when when there's nothing here. But to do this here this is Hamza to Wasl. Hamza has this sign.
So
and nothing else.
Next question: if you would do that, that would kind of like make it a Hamza to Qad, right? In a way, because that it was supposed. It means it's supposed to be read like that, right?
Right.
Okay.
Especially if there was a letter behind it.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's not okay. So you didn't even do that.
All right. So everybody understand, right? So it's only two ways to read the Hamza to Wasl with an imperative verb, with dhamma or with kasra. Okay? So let's take the other verb now, right? So you can see. So take jalasa. Jalasa means to sit. What's the present tense for jalasa?
Yajlisu.
Yaj. Right? And so the vowel here is going to be kasra. Right? So then let's go again how to form the imperative. What are we going to do?
Drop the prefix.
Right? And we know we have to, what has to, right? It has to begin with Hamza to Wasl. Why? Because the original letter has sukun. So we have to begin this imperative with Hamza to Wasl. Copy everything. Right? And we're going to bring over all the vowels. Right? And it's going to end in sukun. Why?
Because that's
Because the
default.
imperative verb ends in sukun. Now, how would we read the verb jalasa yajlis, the imperative now?
Itchless.
And why are we reading with a kesra?
Because it has kasra.
Because it's kesra. Okay? Okay, sis?
Yeah.
So that's the only, you only have two ways to read the hamza to wasl with the imperative verb, either with a dhamma or with kesra. Right? So to make it easy, right? So we have to tax our brain. So when the vowel is a dhamma, you read with a dhamma. Then what's left? Kesra.
No matter.
Okay? Everybody got it? So that's our imperative.
I was just looking at the Surah 96.
Iqra.
I just
Hold on.
thought about it. You know, it starts with that.
Yep. Okay? Okay? And everybody know how to extract the verbal noun, the mustar. Okay? And a lot of times in the entry, in the dictionary entry, the verbal noun is probably going to be the first entry after the verbs themselves, depending on the spelling, of course. But most of the time, it's the first entry. Okay? Most of the time, it's the first entry. Okay? All right. So that takes care of 4 words now. Yes?
And you said that like the past tense stays the same.
Past tense
That
is like the
means
imperative.
It's not affected by it.
Right, it's not affected by Iraq, right.
The verbal now, we have to memorize them for each of the words because the only way you can get them is through the dictionary, right?
For form 1. I think you have to learn them. Yep.
So all the other forms are easier.
Easy. Yeah, they're patterns, and once you learn the pattern, that's it.
Right.
But for form 1, you have to memorize it. You have to learn it as it come along.
Okay.
Okay? All right? So we good on the past tense, present tense, imperative, mustar, how to extract it from the dictionary. Okay? So now let's move on to ismu fa'il and ismu maf'ul, if we good. Okay? All right. Okay? So before we can go there, first of all, let's give a description of ismu fa'il. Okay? If you notice something about ismu fa'il and ismu maf'ul, let's stick with ismu fa'il first. First thing we notice about this here is that we form what? We formed an idafa. We have 2 nouns, and idafa is nothing but we bringing 2 nouns together. We brought the noun ism, and we brought the word fa'il. We already have an idea what fa'il means, right? What's fa'il? If we think of fa'il, what's the first thing coming to our mind?
The person that does, or the thing that does that.
The person or the thing that
Does the action.
does the action. That's the first thing you think about fa'il. Ism, we know an ism. Ism is a noun. Okay? So here we want to coin a particular concept now. We want a particular meaning now. When we say we want to join these 2 words together, the light came on. Right?
Yeah.
We want to join a particular concept now. So if you already know what fa'il means, you know what fa'il means. Fa'il means what again? It's the one who stood up to do that action. Now what we want to do, we want to get a particular word that has that same kind of meaning. With the only exception is that it's directly from the same verb. That's the difference. So whatever verb we're talking about, we want to coin a new word that gives the same meaning as the fa'il, but it's from the verb itself. Okay? So if sajada has a certain meaning, or qara'a, or jalasa, they have a specific meaning. Look, if we say sajada Adamu ila sajada Adamu lillahi. Right? Analyze it. Sajada, verb. Adam is what? It's fa'il. By itself. Just the word fa'il. It's not ismu fa'il. It's just fa'il. Why? Because what does fa'il itself mean? The one who did what comes after the verb, right? But we want ismu fa'il. We want to make a new noun that's coined from the same verb that expresses that same idea.
Something that becomes that.
Right. So he becomes this here. So then we can say Adam is a what?
Prostrator.
Sajid. There you.
He's a prostrator.
Exactly. Right? And so that's your ismu fa'il. It's coined from the same verb. That's your ismu fa'il. It's a noun that gives the same meaning as the fa'il, but it's coined from the verb in question itself, though.
Second form?
We're not on second form. It's
Like
first
a,
form.
like
Huh?
a katib.
Huh?
Like a katib.
Yeah.
Like,
A katib is from the verb kataba.
yeah.
Kataba means to write.
So he's a writer.
So you're right. You be right. So
not just he's the one writing. He's
right,
a writer.
Right. He becomes that.
Okay, then
Right.
yeah, that-
If you
that-
say qara'a, qara'a means
I mean, Qara say,
iqra,
read, yeah.
To read.
Yeah.
right? K-I, right? So if we make qara'a, if we extract the ismu fa'il from qara'a, right? This noun becomes that individual now
Okay,
who is doing that,
right.
right? So a lot of times in English, we in those words maybe in ER, you know, like that in that vein, in that kind of format.
Okay, so the ismu fa'il would be like the writer, runner.
Exactly.
Like
Yes.
Mustar would be like writing, running. Is that
Yeah, we can say that, but it's not always you know marked in stone like that. But that's the basic premise. Because again, sometimes Arabic and English they neck and neck in terms of the concepts, and sometimes it may veer off. Okay, but that's the idea though. So in English, a lot of times your ismu fa'il if it ends in ing, er, or even okay. Right? Okay? So that's your ismu fa'il. Okay? Jalasa means to sit. Right? Huh? Huh? So your ismu fa'il for it in Arabic would be jalis. Right? It's on the pattern. It's on the same pattern that you see this here. Fa'il. So look, what is the pattern? Take the first letter, make it long with an aleph, followed by kasra. No matter what the verb is. Okay? So it's long, the first letter is going to be long, followed by kasra. So if it's sajada, sajid. See the pattern, Ayah? Ali?
Yes,
See?
I got it.
Okay? If it's qara'a, so make the qaf long with an aleph, followed by kasra. Qari. Jalasa becomes jalis.
and it's always fatha is always a long fatha.
Aleph makes fatha automatically. Right? If you have aleph, right? You have the vowel with aleph goes the vowel that complements aleph is fatha. Right? So call right. Look, you can't have look, it's just not possible. You can't have a word. Look, if this is what you have, there's no other vowel that you can put other than the fatha. It can't be si, it can't be su. It's just not possible. Why? Because aleph and fatha complement one another. So that's why it's not necessary to do this. Leave it like that. There's no other vowel that can go there.
Like for instance, like a person, I was thinking because I'm thinking about the word sir, the magic. So a person that this here will be a sahir.
Say. Mm-hmm.
Even so it's default that it takes the fatha no matter what. If it's going to be
No, it's the pattern. That's
the pattern. I'm saying the pattern
right?
is that it's just that pattern no matter
Right.
what the situation is.
Right. That's just the word. That's how the word is formed.
Alhamdulillah.
Or that when you want to make that concept.
That's why it's a difference from going to a class and being a target. Right?
Yeah, you're going to a class. You may not be a student, but you're going to that class.
Okay. Everybody understand right, the pattern and stuff. Okay. So that's your ismu fa'il.
I'm sorry.
Yes,
Would
sorry.
you ever see it with if the first vowel was like a kasra?
We mean first vowel was a kasra.
Sir. The first vowel is a kasra.
No,
So
the ism fa'il, that's
Oh.
not kasra anymore.
Oh no, that's what I'm saying. He's saying if he's, I think you were just trying to say if it
Present
comes in with the kasra,
Yeah, if it
doesn't matter.
What do you mean?
I'm trying to think of
Which form you say? Is that past?
like you would never see it like if like the
Sahara.
fa'il, the vowel is the fa'il.
For the fact?
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. Look, this is a set pattern. Ismu fa'il, the
Not for
word.
the fa'il, but like, would you ever see, like, if the first vowel was a dhamma, or it would never be like if the first vowel is dhamma, it would be a long dhamma.
No.
That's what I'm trying to understand. If it was a long dummy, it would be fool,
Right.
right?
That's what I'm saying. If the first vowel is just not possible. Okay.
For ismu, this is what I'm trying to say. Ismu fa'il is on this pattern. The word is going to look like that.
Yeah.
The word is going. In other words, look at this. Fa, ein. Look at that letter, right? The first letter, fa represents the first letter. Ein represents the second letter, and lam represents the last letter. So the first letter is going to be a long fatha, followed by kesra as a short vowel. That's the pattern for ismu fa'il, right? So if we have another word, let's say. Huh? Okay. Subur. See that word? Subur. That's not ismu fa'il. You understand? That's not ismu fa'il. Why? Because it's not on this pattern. It doesn't look like this. Sword has a dhamma. It's not, we're not saying sabir. See? See the difference between the two words?
Right. So that's what I was asking. So that is possible? Like,
No, that's what, listen,
We never
this,
did.
no. See, you want, I'm not saying never,
okay. Not no.
right? The ismu fa'il is on this pattern. So if it don't look like this, it's not ismu fa'il. This here is something different. It's not ismu fa'il. I'm not saying this word don't exist. I'm just saying it's not ismu fa'il.
Gotcha.
Okay? Okay. Right. Everybody know this word?
Patience.
Huh? No, I mean, no. Nobody know this name?
Subur. No, it just comes from sabr, I don't know, some type of patience or something of that sort.
Right. But nobody never heard this name.
Sabir.
No, not going to hear that name. Not going to hear that name.
Yeah.
We're going to get into it another time. Why? Not going to hear that word. Okay? Okay. All right? Just like I give you another example. Give you another example. Let's take the verb karoma. Karoma. Okay? Present tense for karoma.
Yakru. Yakrumu.
Yuck. When the middle vowel is dhamma, you bring dhamma back. Right? That's the one that's predictable in form 1.
Okay.
For form 1, when the middle vowel is dhamma, you bring it back. So karoma yakrumu. Okay? The imperative, let's go ahead and let's make the imperative now. What is it? Ukrum. Everybody understand how we got it? Everybody understand how we got it?
Yes.
Sis, understand how we got it? No. No, that's not that. No. You understand? We go over it.
How did you get the
How we get the imperative. Karoma, yakrumu.
Well, the second, the ra has to be on there, and the second letter has to have the dhamma. I mean, sukoon.
Right. The kaf is the first letter. We don't count that as the first letter. Kaf is still the first letter.
Okay.
So, and it's because it's sukoon, that's why we need hamza to wasl. Right? And if it's dhamma here, we bring the dhamma back.
Okay.
And then it ends in sukoon.
Right.
Okay? So ukrum. Okay? Okay? Karuma yakrumu ukrum. What's the masdar for it? Huh? Yeah, you gotta look. Yeah, you gotta look. No, you can't estimate what this one is. You gotta look.
Oh, man.
Karuman yakramu ukram.